What's up, NFL fans? I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and don't forget to check out and purchase your copy of our latest football game plan book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. We have these available in both PDF and paperback form. Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you my 2015 NFL Draft Prospect Rankings video. We're taking a look at the defensive end position. We're going to look at my top 10, some small school prospects, as well as some sleepers that you want to keep an eye on. First, let's take a look at what goes into my prospect rankings. Number one, it's a trait-focused base instead of a level of competition base. I don't care where you play, traits translate. Now look at 3 games: your best game, a player's worst game, and also the best matchup and or competition. And finally, these are not indicative of where I believe these players will actually go in April's draft. Vic Beasley out of Clemson is my #1 rated edge rusher in this year's draft class. 6'3", 245 pounds. He has excellent hand usage. He's able to bend and flatten to the quarterback. I also believe he has underrated power for the position and is a game breaker. Now, what he has to work on at times, if he loses the hand battle initially, he struggles to redirect and disengage. And what's his real weight? We saw him bulk up for the combine. Will he drop back down to more 225, 235? Either way, this is one of the best pass rushers in this year's draft class, if not the best pass rusher, whether it be an edge rusher or a defensive end. Nate Orchard out of Utah is one of my favorite players in this year's draft class and compares favorably to Ahmad Brooks of the San Francisco 49ers. He plays with very good leverage. He has strong hands. He's a solid power rusher, and he's not awkward in space, so you can drop him back in coverage. I think he has good all-around skills. Now, his change of direction skills are not as sudden as you would like, and at times, he tends to be a wait-and-see type of a player instead of an enforcer. But overall, first-round talent and one of the better defensive edge rushers in this year's draft. Owa Odigizui out of UCLA plays with tremendous leverage. He squeezes gaps perfectly, which is showing you he's well coached and can definitely do well versus the run. He gets off blocks better when he's standing up, and also has good acceleration to the quarterback. Now, he struggles to counter if he's engaged and doesn't hold a point with his hand in the ground. I think that's why I prefer him as a stand-up edge rusher, and he compares favorably to Brian Arakpo, who plays for the Washington Redskins. Lorenzo Malden out of Louisville at 6'4", 259 pounds is very good in coverage. He has good football IQ and knows how to disengage from offensive players. He's a guy that's fundamentally and technically sound. Now, he doesn't play fast. He struggles to bend, and he's not overly explosive. And I also believe his change of direction skills are marginal at best. But overall, this is a guy I believe that can play with his hand in the ground or up as an edge rusher and drop back in coverage. And I would compare his game to Connor Barwin. The first thing that instantly jumps out at you about Shane Ray is how extremely quick he is off the football. He has an elite first step. He's relentless, and he's a hustle type player that's going to make a lot of plays as a pro. Now, he's not as stout at the point of attack, and he struggles to disengage and also struggles to bend. I think he's a little stiff athletically, but you can't beat that first step, which is why I graded him out as a second-round prospect. Danielle Hunter out of LSU has underrated point of attack strength. He attacks quickly versus the offensive tackle, which allows him to control, and he also does a great job in setting the edge. I think he's a fine run defender. Now, he's not dynamic of a pass rusher, and he doesn't play as fast, and at times he can play high. But if you're looking for someone to compare his game to, look no further than former LSU player Barcavius Mango, who has done a very good job as a pro defending the run. I think when you look at Hunter, he can do the same thing. There's a lot to like about Hauli Kikaha out of Washington at 6'3", 250. He's a good open field tackler, and I think he has a good grasp of passing concepts and shows above average ability to get off blocks. Now, he's stiff athletically and has marginal change of direction skills, but I do think you can leave him on the field all 3 downs and be safe with him in coverage. Trey Flowers out of Arkansas is an extremely good run defender, very strong point of attack player that has good hand usage and disengages well from blockers. Now, he's not a great athlete, not as sudden or quick twitch as you'd like, and I would compare his game to Michael Sam, but this is a guy that's relentless and will always find himself making a play. I'm a big fan of Markus Golden out of Missouri, who hustles every play. He's a good power rusher, a contained defender, and is very tough to move off the spot. Now, he's average athletically. He has decent ball get off, and he's not overly agile and a little tight hip. But when you look at Lorenzo Alexander that plays for the Arizona Cardinals, I think that's a good comparison for Golden's game. Eli Harold out of Virginia is an early entry into the draft and compares, in my opinion, to Darius Fleming that plays for the New England Patriots. He shows a variety of ways to get to the quarterback. He plays with good length at 6'3", 247 and moves well enough to trust in coverage. Now, he takes poor pursuit angles to the ball carrier. He's not a forceful guy and struggles to maintain balance while he's rushing the passer. I think those are things that he'll have to continue to get better at. I think he should have seen another season, but like I said before, graded out as a 5th-round prospect and compares to Darius Fleming. At 6 feet, 250 pounds, Art Norman out of NC State has very good foot quickness. He's relentless as far as rushing the passer is concerned. He's able to dip that shoulder and get around the edge, and he also has active hands that you look for. Now, he doesn't defend the cut block very well. He struggles to counter once he's engaged, and he tends to lose balance and find himself on the ground a lot. Those are things I believe can't happen if he wants to sustain success as a pro. Shaquille Riddick out of West Virginia transferred up to the Mountaineers after dominating the FCS level at Gardner-Webb. He plays with great length. He has a tremendous wingspan, and you can keep him outside of the tight end, and he'll do a great job getting to the quarterback because of his great acceleration. Now, he's not as stout as you'd like to hold the point. That's putting it lightly. He struggles to disengage, and he has no counter move. I think as a stand-up edge rusher over the tight end, outside shoulder of the tackle, he could have a long career as a situational pass rusher. Jamario Rasco out of LSU had a very productive week at the East-West Shrine game this year as he moved from defensive end to outside linebacker. He showed solid ability in pass coverage, both one-on-one and also dropping off in the zone. Now, he's better off the ball. I think he could win on the line of scrimmage versus a tight end. Now, he's always banged up. He has a long injury history, not major, but just nagging injury history. He has no counter move and is not functionally strong at the point of attack. But overall, again, a guy that can help you out on special teams and in pass coverage. Now let's take a look at some small college edge rushers in this year's draft class. Great group of guys this season, starting with Alec May out of Georgetown. He has elite level ball get off. He has natural body lean, great acceleration to the quarterback, and moves well in pass defense. I think his hands are very active, but at times he exposes his chest, which allows offensive linemen to control him, and he can be over-aggressive with a one-track mind that gets to the quarterback goal in mind, which could leave him susceptible to trap or wham blocks. But this is a clean prospect, very good prospect, coming out of the FCS, the Patriot League, and compares favorably to Brooks Reed of the Houston Texans. Kyle Emanuel out of North Dakota State, I got the chance to see live twice this year, once versus Montana, and second down at the East-West Shrine game. He had a great game in both. Great week of practice down in Tampa, great game versus the Grizzlies. He's a fundamentally sound player that is able to get off blocks, redirect, and accelerate to the quarterback. And I think with his size, I believe he can also play outside linebacker in a 3-4 or left or right defensive end in a 4-3. This is a big-time player that I think has a bright future moving forward. I got the chance to see Ryan Delaire out of Towson twice this season, live once versus Delaware and two versus Villanova. Two different games, two different styles, and he excelled at both. I came away highly impressed with his ability as a pass rusher. At 6'4", 250, he's able to consistently grab and extend, which allows him to control the offensive lineman and read what's going on in the backfield. You still want to see a level of consistency there from down to down. There was times during the game where he disappeared, but overall, when you see his ability to bend the edge, get to the quarterback, and also play the run, it makes him a fine prospect moving forward. Lynden out of Norfolk State has elite level athleticism and had a great week of practice down at the Senior Bowl. I believe this guy can play multiple positions, and he did so in college, even on the offensive side. He has a good understanding of route combinations, which means you can leave him on the field all 3 downs. Now, he does play too high. He's not stout at the point of attack as far as run defending is concerned. He's more of a finesse player than a physical guy, but I would compare his game and his style and his athleticism to the Patriots' Jamie Collins. Jeff Kovitz out of Bryant is a highly decorated player coming out of the FCS ranks at 6'2", 255. I'm a big fan of his football IQ. He has very quick hands, which allows him to control and disengage, which is probably why he's the all-time sacks leader in the conference with 27.5. And the Bulldogs played him all across that defensive line: nose tackle, the 1-tech, the 5-tech. Considering he's a shorter defensive end at 6'2", he was able to excel. I think he's a very powerful point of attack player with above average quickness, and a good game comparison would be Rob Ninkovich of the New England Patriots. Keep an eye on Phillips out of Missouri Valley College, which is an NAIA program. He had an outstanding career, transferred down from Missouri. He redirects and accelerates to the quarterback very well. He can even play inside linebacker in a 3-4 if you want him to. Very strong hands and a good athlete. Now, he's more quick than fast, and at times he allows the offensive linemen to get their hands on him first, which allowed them to then control. But this is a very good prospect, and I would compare his game to Roosevelt Nix that plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, there's a lot of talk about Ali Marpet out of Hobart, and rightfully so, but his teammate Tyree Coleman is one hell of a football player. He has very good strength as a power rusher, great understanding of leverage, and he closes well to the ball carrier. I also believe his football IQ is off the charts. Now, he must develop a counter move. He tends to be blind in pursuit, which could leave him susceptible to misdirection, but this is a very good prospect, and I will compare his game to Cordero Law of San Diego. Zack Hodges out of Harvard at 6'3", 240 has the length of a guy that's 6'5", 6'6", and at the snap of the ball, he does a fabulous job of initiating contact, which allows him to win the hands battle. And with that ability to win first and his ability to extend, he's very tough to reach block. And when you look at his skill set overall, he can bend and get to the quarterback. He has to do a better job with his point of attack strength. He has to become more functionally strong. I do think he has the frame to add weight. We'll see moving forward if he's able to do that as a pro. But overall, solid prospect, but I wouldn't say he's there yet, so to speak. So I think he's going to be a guy that you can say has a little bit of development left in his game. I think it would be an understatement to say that Davis Tull has very good ball get off out of Chattanooga. This guy explodes off the football. He's highly disruptive. He has good football awareness, and he can accelerate to the ball carrier, but he has marginal strength at the point of attack, which tells me he's more of a situational pass rush guy. He's an okay athlete and has poor leverage. Those are things I believe he'll have to work on moving forward. Zach Wegeman out of Montana is a guy that's not what you would call a point of attack player. I think he can also transition to a weak side linebacker in a 4-3. He's your classic run and chase linebacker, but he does show a lot of athleticism to bend the edge, accelerate to the quarterback, and he does have ability as a pass rusher. So I think situationally he can be utilized in that area, but he probably will start off on special teams and make his hay that way. Julian Hauser out of Division II Clarion, which is in Pennsylvania, is a fun player to watch. He showcases a variety of ways to get to the quarterback. He plays 3 special teams units, which is a key thing for a guy coming from a small program. He'll have to make his hay on special teams early, and I believe with his size and skill set, he can play inside linebacker in a 3-4. Now, he struggles to bend and plays as if he's 6'7", so he's going to have to get that pad level down a little bit lower, but you see enough raw tools, enough raw athleticism for him to be considered a draftable prospect. Arthur Miley out of Southern at 6'5", 250 has good frame, good build and lean, and can bend and turn the corner. Was a dominant player in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I think he can also play over the tight end, but I want to see him get a little bit more aggressive at the point of attack as far as stopping the run is concerned. But if you look for a comparison, look no further than the Packers' Andy Malumba. Jovontay Williams out of Johnson C. Smith, a Division II program, plays a lot like Odell Willis, who's a defensive end of the same size in the CFL. He plays for the Edmonton Eskimos. Good striking power. He plays with leverage and has an above-average first step, but he's a little tight in his hips and not as fluid as you would like. But I think he does have talent to play as a pro, whether it be here in the States or north of the border. Jamil Cooks out of Alcorn State is explosive on contact. He arrives to the ball carrier with bad intentions and in a bad mood. He plays with great length and also has very good athleticism, but he plays too high. He struggles to hold the point in the running game. He's going to have to get stronger and a lot more stout if he wants to be a consistent player as a pro. He takes a little bit too long to redirect. Those are things he'll have to work on, but there's enough raw athleticism and enough raw talent for a team to take a chance on him later on in the draft. Maduka Wankezi out of Bryant is a legit 6'3", 230-pound outside linebacker, I believe, as a pro that has very good initial quickness off the ball, which allows him to set up and essentially control the offensive lineman, which then allows him to bend and accelerate to the quarterback. I came away very impressed with his level of versatility, which projects well to the next level. He was able to rush the passer, play the run well, drop into coverage, and also cover the tight end in man, succeeding in every aspect. I do believe if he wants to stay at defensive end, he'll excel at the CFL level, but as an NFL player, he projects as an outside linebacker, and he also plays on 2 special teams units. Delaware rounds out my small college prospect edge rushers list. He's a guy that dealt with a lot of injuries during his career at Delaware, but has been fairly productive. 8 career sacks, 3 sacks coming into the game that I saw versus Towson, and his pro projection would be as an outside linebacker in the 3-4, which is why he's in this rankings. He's a powerful guy with strong hands, is able to move the offensive lineman off the spot, and doesn't miss any tackles. I like the fact that he has very good spatial awareness and good read and recognition skills. Now, he's a little stiff athletically and tends to play high, but he's very active at the line of scrimmage, and that's going to get him involved in a lot of plays. But I would like to see him develop a little bit more variety in his pass rushing moves. But I think this is a guy that can excel on both kickoff and punt coverage units very early as a pro. So let's recap my 2015 NFL Draft prospect rankings for the edge players, your defensive end, outside linebacker, hybrid prospects. And these are color-coded by round grade. 2 first-round graded prospects in Vic Beasley and Nate Orchard. But when you look at this list, from the first round all the way down to round 7, 29 prospects I graded out. This was a big-time year for edge rushers, both at the major school level and at the small college level. This is a great year if you need someone on the outside to apply pressure on the quarterback.